Ever feel like you're looking at a really tangled situation and you just wish you could, I don't know, instantly get the core issues?
Yeah, like cut through the noise.
Exactly. Get the essential insights without drowning in detail. Well, that's what we're aiming for today.
And our source material for this deep dive, it's a classic.
George Orwell's Animal Farm. We've got key bits from the text, some analysis, and our mission really is to unpack those intense early days of the animal revolution.
Right, their first attempts, often really idealistic, to build this new society.
We'll see how it all started, the initial excitement, but also maybe spot some early signs of trouble ahead.
It's a powerful story. On the surface, simple enough. Animals kick out their human farmer, Mr. Jones, set up their own farm.
But it's so much more than that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It digs deep into power, how ideas form, and, crucially, how even the best intentions can, well, go sideways.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The spark. That really comes from Old Major's speech in Chapter 1, right?
Definitely. That speech is the foundation, the philosophical bedrock, you could say.
What's his main point? What gets the animals listening?
His core argument. Humans. He says humans are the only reason the animals' lives are miserable.
Parasites, basically.
That's the word he uses. Consuming everything the animals produce but contributing nothing themselves. He paints a really grim picture.
How so?
Well, he talks about their actual lives under Jones. The endless work, the barely adequate food, families being broken up.
Like Clover losing her foals.
Exactly. Concrete examples. And, the fact that their lives almost always end violently at the knackers or sold off. He makes exploitation feel very real, very personal.
But it wasn't just about complaining, was it? He offered them something more.
Oh, yes. He gives them this vision, a future without man, a future where the farm belongs to them.
It's comfort, dignity.
Exactly. Abundant food, freedom, living naturally, a complete contrast to their current miserable condition, as he calls it.
And that leads to his call to action. Pretty clear message there.
Unequivocal. Rebellion. It's the only way out. He tells them, rebellion against man.
Did he say when?
No, he admits he doesn't know when it will happen. Could be soon, could be generations away. But he insists they must commit to it, pass the message on. It's like this historical mission.
And he gives them rules, too.
Yeah.
Or warnings, maybe, about becoming like humans.
Yes, very specific warnings. This is where the ideology starts forming. He tells them, whatever you do, don't adopt human habits.
Like what?
Living in houses, sleeping in beds, wearing clothes, drinking alcohol, smoking, touching money, trading.
Wow, a long list.
He saw all those things as corrupting. And maybe most importantly, he stresses equality. No animal should ever tyrannize another animal.
A powerful vision.
Mm-hmm.
And then the song, Beasts of England. That seems to have been a real catalyst.
It really was. It captured that dream, put it into words and music everyone could grasp.
What was the reaction like?
The text says wildest excitement. They just got it instantly. Even the less bright animals picked up the tune. They sang it again and again, 5 times apparently. Huge enthusiasm.
You can just picture it.
Yeah.
All that hope and unity. But it gets interrupted, right? By Jones?
Yeah, abruptly. They're singing so loud it wakes him up. He grabs his gun, thinks there's a fox.
And fires it.
Fires it into the side of the barn. The pellets hit the wall. It's a sudden, harsh reminder of the human power they're dreaming of escaping. Silences them instantly. A bit of foreshadowing, perhaps.
Okay, so Old Major plants the seed. Now, the rebellion itself, how did that actually happen? Things were pretty bad under Jones by then.
Yeah, the farm was really going downhill. Jones had lost money, started drinking heavily, just let things slide.
Yeah, the men weren't great either.
Lazy, dishonest, the text says. Fields full of weeds, buildings falling apart, and the animals. Chronically underfed. It was a tinderbox, really.
So the rebellion wasn't some grand planned attack.
Not at all. It was spontaneous. It kicked off because Jones got drunk, forgot to feed them for a whole day.
Hunger drove them to it.
Exactly. One of the cows just broke down the door to the feed shed. Then they all piled in.
And when Jones and his men tried to stop them.
With whips, yes. But this time the animals just snapped. Years of resentment, maybe. They turned on the humans, chased them right off the property. Suddenly, the farm was theirs. Pure impulse, born of neglect.
And what's the first thing they do once Jones is gone?
There's this symbolic cleansing. They go into the harness room where all the tools of their oppression were kept.
Bits, reins, whips.
All of it. Halters, nose rings, dog chains. They destroy them, throw them down the well or burn them. It's a powerful release. Then Napoleon gives everyone double rations of corn, a taste of the new abundance.
Then they explore the farmhouse. That must have been strange for them.
Totally alien. The book describes their awe walking through it, seeing beds, mirrors, carpets, unbelievable luxury to them.
But they decide not to live there.
Unanimously. It's to be preserved as a museum, a reminder of the old days. No animal should ever live in a house. Though they do take up the hams for burying and smash the barrel of beer.
Right. And Molly, she was interested in something else in there, wasn't she?
Ah, yes. Molly finds some ribbons in Mrs. Jones's dressing table, admires herself in the mirror.
A little bit of foreshadowing there, maybe.
Yeah.
That not everyone's fully committed to the austerity of the revolution.
Exactly. Snowball immediately tells her ribbons are like badges of slavery, part of the human world they've rejected. But Molly's reaction, it hints that personal vanity, personal desires, might clash with the collective ideology down the line.
Okay, so Jones is out. The symbols of oppression are gone. Now they have to actually run the place, build a new order, and the pigs step up.
Yes, because they can read and write. Turns out they'd been teaching themselves in secret.
Clever.
So they take the lead. They distill Old Major's teachings, the principles of animalism, into 7 commandments.
And they write them up for everyone to see.
Big white letters on the tarred wall of the main barn, meant to be the permanent, unalterable laws of Animal Farm.
Let's quickly run through those commandments. They seem pretty clear at first glance.
They do. 1, 2 legs enemy. 2, 4 legs or wings, friend. 3, no clothes. 4, no beds.
Right. 5, no alcohol. 6, no animal kill other animal. And the last one.
7, all animals are equal. Seems straightforward, doesn't it? That's the foundation they're building on.
So with the rules set, they tackle the harvest. How does that go?
Surprisingly well. Chapter 3 shows this initial burst of success. They work incredibly hard, knowing it's for themselves now, not Jones.
More efficient too.
Much more. They finish in record time, hardly any waste. Everyone pitches in, even the ducks and hens gathering stray grains.
Yeah.
Real collective spirit.
And we learn more about the individual animals during this time. Their personalities start to show.
Definitely. You've got Boxer, the incredibly strong horse. His motto becomes, I will work harder. He's the powerhouse.
Then there's Molly.
Still finding excuses to leave work early. And the cat, who has a knack for disappearing when there's work to be done, but always shows up for meals.
And Benjamin. The donkey.
Ah, Benjamin, still cynical, still detached, doesn't seem inspired, doesn't seem bothered, just makes his usual cryptic remarks like, donkeys live a long time.
They also set up new routines, right? These Sunday meetings.
Yes, Sundays become their day off. They have a ceremony, hoist the flag green for the fields with a white hoof and horn.
Symbolizing the Republic of the Animals.
Exactly. Then they have a big meeting, plan the week's work, debate resolutions, though significantly, the resolutions are always put forward by the pigs.
And Snowball seems particularly active in organizing things.
Very much so. He's full of ideas. Starts all sorts of committees, egg production, Clean Tails League, Wild Comrades Re-Education, trying to organize everyone.
What about Napoleon? Is he involved in these committees?
Not really. He shows little interest, says educating the young is more important.
And then he does something specific with that idea.
Yes, he takes Jessie and Bluebell's newborn puppies, says he'll be responsible for their education, takes them away to a loft, basically isolates them. Seems kind of minor at the time, but, well, it becomes significant later.
And around this time, we see the first real sign of inequality creep in, don't we? The milk and apples.
Ah, yes, a critical moment. The animals notice the milk disappears every day, added to the pig's mash.
And then the windfall apples.
Same story. Orders go out. All windfall apples are to be collected and brought to the harness room for the pigs only.
How do they justify that? Especially given the 7th commandment, all animals are equal.
Squealer, he's sent out to explain, and he's very persuasive.
What's his argument?
He basically says, look, this isn't about privilege, it's science. Milk and apples contain substances essential for pig brain work. And the pigs are the brain workers. The whole management of the farm depends on them.
And the clincher.
The fear tactic. Do you know what would happen if we pigs failed in our duty? Jones would come back.
Nobody wants that.
Exactly. So the animals, maybe not fully convinced, but definitely not wanting Jones back, they let it go. They agree. The pigs need the milk and apples. It's the first major compromise of their principles.
While this internal stuff is happening, word is getting out right.
Mm-hmm.
To the neighboring farms.
Yeah, Snowball and Napoleon send out pigeons, flying messengers carrying the story of the rebellion and teaching other animals the tune of Beasts of England.
How do the humans react? Mr. Jones, the other farmers?
Jones is mostly just complaining in the pub, but the other farmers, Pilkington and Frederick, they own the adjacent farms. They're worried.
Worried their own animals might get ideas.
Definitely. But outwardly, they pretend to find the whole idea ridiculous. They predict Animal Farm will collapse any day now. They spread rumors, cannibalism, torture, absurd stuff. And they make a point of calling it Manor Farm, refusing to use its proper name.
But the song, Beasts of England, that seems to genuinely bother them.
Oh, it drives them mad. They can't understand why animals would sing such rubbish, but it also scares them. Any animal caught singing it on their farms gets a whipping.
Doesn't stop it, though.
Nope. The song is irrepressible. It spreads everywhere. Birds sing it. Horses hum it. The humans hear traces of it, even in the sound of blacksmiths' hammers. The text says they secretly trembled hearing it. It felt like a prophecy of their doom.
Which leads, inevitably, to Jones trying to get his farm back. The Battle of the Cowshed.
Right. Early October, Jones rounds up some men, gets help from Pilkington and Frederick's workers, and they launch an attack.
Were the animals ready?
Surprisingly, yes. Snowball had planned for this. He'd studied Julius Caesar's campaigns, apparently.
Really? So he had a strategy.
A proper defense plan. First wave, pigeons dropping. Well, you know. Second wave, geese pecking at their legs. Then the main charge.
And Boxer must have been key here.
Absolutely crucial. His strength was devastating. He knocks several men down. But there's that moment. He thinks he's killed a stable lad.
And he feels terrible about it.
Genuinely remorseful? I have no wish to take life, not even human life, he says. Which is a real contrast to Snowball.
What does Snowball say?
War is war. The only good human being is a dead one. A very different attitude. Shows a potential split even then.
And Molly. Where was she during all this?
Hiding. Typical Molly. As soon as the gunshots started, she ran off and hid in her stall, head buried in the hay. No taste for fighting or sacrifice.
But despite her absence, the animals win. A decisive victory. How do they mark it?
Pure joy and relief first. Raising the flag, singing Beasts of England again and again. Then a more formal commemoration.
Like what?
A funeral for the one sheep killed in the fighting. Snowball gives a speech about dying for Animal Farm if need be. They create military decorations. Animal Hero First Class for Snowball and Boxer.
And the dead sheep.
Animal Hero Second Class, awarded posthumously. They name the Battle of the Cowshed. And they decide to keep Jones's gun, place it at the foot of the flagpole, and fire it twice a year.
On the anniversaries.
Of the rebellion and of this battle.
So, a big moment of unity and triumph. But even here, the cracks are widening, aren't they? Especially between Snowball and Napoleon.
Yes, Chapter 5 really focuses on this. Their rivalry becomes much more open. They disagree on almost everything at the Sunday meetings.
What are their styles like?
Snowball is brilliant with speeches, full of plans and projects, really sways the crowd with his arguments. Napoleon is quieter in the meetings, but he's very good at lobbying for support between times.
Especially with certain animals.
Yes, particularly the sheep. He teaches them that simple chant, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, and they just bleat it endlessly, often interrupting Snowball's speeches.
And the big flashpoint becomes the windmill project.
The windmill. Snowball's grand vision. He argues it'll provide electricity, automate tasks, drastically reduce working hours, a future of leisure and progress.
What's Napoleon's take?
He argues it's nonsense. Wasting time on the windmill means they'll all starve. The priority, he says, must be increasing food production now. It's idealism versus harsh pragmatism, but also, clearly, a power struggle.
And it comes to a head very dramatically.
Extremely. Just as Snowball finishes this passionate speech about the windmill, looks like he's won the debate, Napoleon lets out this strange, high-pitched whimper.
A signal.
A signal. Suddenly, 9 huge, fierce dogs, the puppies Napoleon educated, burst into the barn.
And they go straight for Snowball.
Straight for him. He barely escapes with his life. They chase him right off the farm. It's brutal, violent, power asserted through force.
And just like that, Snowball's gone. Yeah. How do the other animals react? How does Napoleon manage this?
Well, Squealer steps in immediately, of course. Damage control, propaganda mode.
What does he tell them?
He paints Snowball as a traitor, a criminal, says he was secretly working with Jones all along. And the windmill, Napoleon was never opposed to it. In fact, it was his idea originally, and Snowball just stole it.
A complete rewriting of history.
Instantly. Squealer is incredibly effective at twisting the narrative, playing on their fears, confusing them. He makes Napoleon seem like the strong, decisive leader who saved them from a dangerous influence. And with the dogs growling menacingly nearby, who's going to argue?
So looking back at this whole sequence, we've gone from old Major's dream the beasts of England hope,
Uh-huh.
through the actual rebellion, chasing Jones out, setting up the commandments.
Initial success with the harvest, the victory at the cowshed.
But then the milk and apples, the growing arguments between Snowball and Napoleon.
Culminating in Snowball being violently driven out and Napoleon taking control, backed by his dog squad.
It's quite a rapid journey, isn't it? From that initial pure idealism to something, well, much darker.
It really is. That's maybe the big aha moment here.
Yeah.
How quickly those revolutionary ideals started to erode, how quickly authoritarianism began to take hold. The signs were there quite early, if you look closely.
Absolutely. Those early decisions, those early compromises, the personalities involved, they all paved the way for what came next.
So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Looking at these early events, the speech, the commandments, the battle, the windmill debate, Snowball's expulsion, what do you see as the absolutely critical turning points? Could things have gone differently? And maybe more importantly, what echoes of this story, these dynamics of power and ideology and manipulation, do you see playing out in the world around you today? Something to think about.